Ever wish you had someone to talk to anytime, anywhere, no matter what you're going through? Meet PsychPal, your 24/7 AI companion designed to help you process your thoughts, calm your mind, and keep you moving forward. Chat anytime during a panic attack, on a restless night, or just when you need to vent. Prefer talking instead of typing? Try voice journaling. PsychPal listens, transcribes, and truly understands. You can even upload screenshots of tough conversations, and it'll help you unpack how they made you feel. PsychPal keeps life organized too. It can add appointments to your calendar, track your mood, and even summarize your sessions for your therapist so you'll never lose progress. Plus, built in crisis resources are always just one click away. It's a privacy first, constantly evolving, made to complement your professional care, not replace it. Ready to try it out? Head over to the link in this episode and use my code Pete at checkout to get 20% off your first month subscription to PsychPal. PsychPal, because your mind deserves a companion too. There we go. I think that's the one I like. We got it. We got it. Boom.
What do I do when life's so meaningless? What do I do when I just ain't feeling this? Anyone feeling this? Anyone feeling this? What do I do when life's so meaningless? What do I do when I just ain't feeling this? Anyone feeling this? Anyone feeling this? Meaningless, meaningless, meaningless. Desires not to exist.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Pete for Excited. Before we get started today, let's give a shout out to my partners from PsychPal, guys. Use the link in the description to go get yourself a 7 days free trial. And then if you guys like what you see, you know what? I was a nice guy. I got you 20% off your first month subscription by using my code Pete at checkout. With that being said, my guest today is a go-to high performance coach for dyslexic professionals ready to trade self-doubt for confidence, clarity, and daily progress. Please welcome in the one, the only Coach Willie Blake. Willie, how you doing, man?
Dude, I'm doing good. Yeah, today's been a good day, and man, excited for this.
Well, brother, why don't you tell everybody a little more about yourself, and then we'll get into this thing, man.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a cool girl dad. I got 4 girls. They're awesome. Been with my wife for 9 years. I love helping out people who are dyslexic, especially dyslexic professionals, be able to get more confidence, more clarity, and hopefully on the side, more income. I'm the host of the podcast Light Beyond Limits, just trying to bring more light into this world. And I'd say that's a pretty good summary of myself.
Nice, man. So let's get into it then. Like, when did you start your podcast, and what was the purpose behind the beginning of the thing?
Yeah. So first episode came out, I think 2021, did 8 episodes and then left it. And then came back to it, changed the name of it. I didn't delete it because I'm one of those guys who's just like, I love to see the beginning of where I was to where I'm at today. So I left the 8 episodes on. Episode 9 was the whole Light Beyond Limits. That was February of 2024. And man, we are at episode 162, just came out recently. So just loving it.
So what's the show about exactly? So, and then what was your name originally? Then what did you change to? Because I'm kind of curious to know.
Yeah. So Life Beyond Limits, we talk about the breakthroughs and stories that people have with their limitations and the lessons that they learned from it.
Nice. That's
so
really
it's
cool.
People who have had limitations, who have challenges, which hint, everybody does. But I bring people on and I speak to my lessons that I've learned about people who take that and do something with it, who either overcome it to such a degree or are able to manage it and actually use that in their career or their life.
Yeah.
So they are go-getters. They're the movers. And I don't like prideful people with an ego saying, I've done this, you should follow me. I love bringing people on who are just full of heart, full of just love of helping other people out. So that's what the podcast is about.
So Will, I'm going to have to ask you, man, if you had any interesting guests come on the show, man, because that's the next question I've got, because I've had a few on here where it's like, oh my God, I can't air this ever to anybody because it's that bad of like a conversation, or it's like the way their conversation goes. Like we had recently on a side project I did, this woman had come on and I just can't even tell you what she was saying was just completely crazy. It's like, I can't post this because like what you're saying is you're telling people not to do something that's important. She's like, well, give a context frame. She said basically, well, you can't you can't don't take your psychiatric meds. I'm like, Wait, what are we telling people? Well, hold on, wait. She's like, yeah, that's what I suggest they don't take their side. And she kept repeating it. And I'm like, oh no. So I'm trying to get through this interview and I'm trying to like salvage something out. And I just couldn't because she just kept going back to the same rhetoric. Oh, don't take your psychiatric. I'm like, I can't post this. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get sued in the process. Are you kidding me? This is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know this as you've been doing this for a bit, like, you get those people. You get the
Yeah.
people who come in.
Oh yeah.
And, yeah, I have one in particular who came on the show, and we get people who have talked about, taking their lives,
Mm-hmm.
about, spina bifida, which is like
Mm-hmm.
a paralyzation problem, dyslexia. We've had ADHD, autistic people, people who struggle with OCD and bipolar. And so like very spectrums. But this one specifically, we're talking about taking the suicide and taking people's lives. And so the whole thing was their story about it. And I've had someone else on before who, great advocate for it, is out there trying to raise the, what do you call it? Raise the distance. Because at the time, it was about every 54 seconds,
Yeah.
someone attempts to take their life. And his mission is to make that 55 seconds.
Yeah.
Because in a year's time, that saves about 10,000 people.
Yeah.
And so, like, I've had people like that, but this one, he just, it's a hard topic to talk about, but it was just so down about it. And it felt more like a therapy session than really just a podcast to help other people out.
Yeah.
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 There are those people. And to answer your other question, the first part of my podcast, it was car thoughts with Willie Blake.
Oh,
and no joke. I'd have my phone. I'd put my phone in the visor above me and just like put my head up and talk, share, just riff for like 5 or 10 minutes.
God, yes.
That was the first several episodes.
said
You
it's
can
still
hear
out
the
there?
blinkers. You can
Oh
hear
my God,
everything in the
yes.
background.
That's awesome. So the next question obviously is, what got you into coaching, man? I mean, like, you're obviously dyslexic yourself, correct? Am I not reading that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So is that what it was? Is the original goal was to help other people like yourself not feel so out there? Because I know for dyslexia, it's hard for people to understand. I know one of my daughters is dyslexic. So, for her, reading certain things was hard and things like that too.
Yeah, it actually wasn't dyslexia that got me to it. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted two things. First was to write my own book. I thought
Okay.
that'd be really cool to be an author.
Okay.
Even though I struggled with reading, I always loved the fantasy world of how magic and how fiction and the adventure. I loved all of it.
Yeah. So you could just paint it all
wanted
yourself.
to be one.
Yeah.
Exactly. The second thing, though, was to be a type of teacher. But I knew I didn't want to go the traditional route because there's so many different rules, and how I grew up, some teachers just weren't favorable to me. So I didn't know how I was going to be, but I always wanted to be in like this teacher sense. So back in 2018, 2019, when I saw this statistic that said 95% of CEOs read 50 or more books a year, I thought, well, that'd be cool to be it. So I guess I'll start. And it was by reading. I didn't reach it. It took me a while to get it. But as I was going through it, I learned about this whole industry of entrepreneurship, of business and finance. And one of it was coaching. I thought coaching it sounded really cool. So I started a side hustle coaching business. And my first year, I had 0 clients. Second year, here we go. 1 client. And it was my cousin. But after that, I was still doing landscaping stuff, still working produce at Walmart, still working my 9 to 5. But I was building on the side, and I was talking with people, and some of the, now I call them like reviews and testimonials, but the thoughts that they had back then were just, Willie, you're a master listener. Thank you for sitting with me in this McDonald's to talk about my business idea. You really helped me out. And it was over a decade of time to where now we're at today.
Yeah.
To where that thought and desire of wanting to be somewhat of a teacher now turned into being a coach. And it
Yeah.
was a friend who was like, "You're dyslexic. Why don't you help out dyslexic people?" And I thought, that sounds like one of the smartest things. I can't believe I didn't think about that years earlier. So now I help out dyslexic people because I speak off of experience rather than what I read in a book.
Yeah, yeah, true, very true. And it's well for me here, it's the same thing. Like just the stuff I've experienced, and like when I started this show, I didn't really know much, honestly. And I start learning things from the people that came and then other people that told me about the things. I was like, all right, cool. Well, I was using the internet to my advantage. So I'm looking up new things, checking things out, learning all these different things as people are coming in, and I'm like, what is that? I'm wondering what that is. So, and that's how I learned a lot of this stuff. So like when I do a lot of these episodes, I don't really prepare too much. And I know it sounds wild to people. It's like I just kind of look and see what we're talking about, and I jump in the conversation. I've done pretty well so far with it. Obviously, what are we, an episode like somewhere in the 300 to 400 range, somewhere in there. I've
Heck
done these.
yeah.
I've had people from neuroscience all the way down to just average people come on and tell me they're ready to commit suicide. In fact, season three's opener, she told us that she drank bleach, cut her wrist, and was waiting there just to die. And I was like, wait, what? What had just happened here? And I've done this for like 2 seasons worth ahead of time. So this conversation was just like, what the hell just happened in this conversation? Wait, hold on. And then the same season, last season, was we had a girl come on telling us that she was sexually assaulted at 3. Didn't know because her memory's cut off by her own mind cut it off. So she wouldn't remember it, but her body remembered it. And she was like, um, sitting there going like, oh, people are making fun of me. I'm like, hold on. And I get so mad at one point, sitting there, look at the camera like, if you're making fun of this woman, I was pissed. I'm like, this is crazy. But so many people gravitated towards it because I was like, when I started, the idea was just like, well, where's everybody having the conversation about mental health itself? Like there's gotta be people like talking about this stuff. And I'm looking at it, it's doctor, 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 but no like just general conversation of two people talking. Like somebody just out there just having a casual conversation. And then when this show posted the idea of this out there, dude, this thing exploded. And I was just like, oh shit, okay, maybe I got something here. So, yeah. So I'm that guy working the 9 to 5 now. I work my 9 to 5 now, but this is what I do my free time. And I'm trying to make this the other way around. So I've been pushing so hard doing it. It's been great though. I've enjoyed all the interviews. I've met new people. I've done all these opportunities I've never even thought I'd have a chance to do. I'm going to my third publicity panel for the third time in a row. I'm heading over that way in June to do that as well again for the third time. And had I started from the beginning and realized this is where I would have been, I wouldn't even begin to tell you the list of people who had global bestsellers, all these people, all just because I just had one thought process of, hey, listen, man, let's go explore the world and see what happens.
Yeah.
It's
That's
crazy.
incredible. We need more spaces like this. I'm
Yeah.
sure that's why it blew up. Because when do we talk about dyslexia, or when do we talk about cutting our wrist or giving up our life, or when do we talk about like cancer and things like that?
Hmm.
It might be like a Facebook post that we post out there one time in a decade. Other than that, it's not like we sit next to I don't sit next to my friends and be like, yo, I'm dyslexic. And they say, cool. No, it's a taboo topic, just like many other things. So having this space to just say the things that no one else is willing to say,
Right. And
it's
make people
incredible.
understand what it is exactly. So for people that don't understand what dyslexia is, maybe break it down for them too. Because people hear the term of everything in the world, but why don't you break it down for somebody what it's like for you as a dyslexic to read a book?
Yes, dyslexia, simplest of simple forms, is the way we process information.
Hmm.
It's different. So it just if you think about like driving from your house to Walmart, everybody can go from A to B. Road from A to B is full of traffic or
Yeah.
construction. So we got to take route C or D or Q to Z, but we eventually get there. It just takes us a little longer. So whenever it comes to things like reading, writing, speaking, and spelling, more of the logistical, analytical mind, it is a little bit harder for us to be able to get to that destination.
Yeah.
Now, with dyslexia, how it feels is you open a book and you're expected to, you my spouse, we sitting there reading in bed, and she can go through page after page after page, and after her going through 10 pages, I can maybe get through one page. I have to say in my head what I'm reading on paper.
Yeah.
And when I speak it out loud, it's pretty slow, and that's the same in my head. So I'm still reading the sentence of the black bear went to the forest to get, like, I'm literally saying that in my head, which what I've heard from other people is that they don't do that. They're able to quick read and skim and be able to do whatever kind of things it is. I personally can't do that. So
Yeah.
it takes a little bit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this might relate to a lot of people who are dyslexic or might think that they are. I remember in elementary school, we'd be in a reading line, just kind of a circle. The teacher would call on one person and say, "Okay, we're going to start here,
Oh
go
God,
around
yes.
this
I
way.
hated those. Yeah.
Everybody's going to read
No.
their paragraph." I would literally count how many people it was till it got to
Exactly.
me,
You said they're freaking out like,
count
oh
down the
God.
paragraphs.
God, it's
And
me.
without listening to anybody else, right? I would be reading my paragraph, making sure I could pronounce the big words, that I just say it easy. So when I stand up, I don't make a fool of myself.
Yeah. God, I remember those days, dude. God, I hated that. Peter, can you read out loud? Oh God, dude, I couldn't hardly read half the time too, because I originally was diagnosed ADD, and now I have ADHD instead, actually, because I got re-diagnosed because I was like, something's not right. Like like it was similar to where it was, but it was just like it was the most terrifying thing ever. Can you read? Same thing. I'm counting people like, oh shit, and my time's coming, man. I better get ready. Brace for impact. Here we go. Start reading your head ahead of time. So like I'd read mine ahead of time, and it was so hard for me. So, like, I remember when they put me in those special education classes, like, people just, like, make fun of you and things like that, but I'm like, I learned at a different pace than other people did, you know? Like, they were learning whatever in English, we were learning Harry Potter. I was like, works for me, man, because I couldn't do Julius Caesar and all that stuff. Don't disrespect all them, but that was just terrible. I couldn't do it. It was horrible. And, you know, it always felt like, you know, you always felt weird because you were in this group, but you had your own little kind of like community of people that understood what it's like to be different than everybody else, you know. And it was cool though, because like it was everything worked at the same rate. And then it was like, you know, I got to do a lot of really cool opportunities. I got to do work studies and things like that. You know, everything on the ordinary for high school for me was a little bit different because, you know, I was always picked on all the time because I was a little different because I didn't know. Like, I don't know what's going on. You know, I'm a new kid. I've transferred several schools. I spent my freshman year in one high school, and then the rest of the years in another school. So I didn't know a lot of people going in, but then it was nice when you had that sense of community. It's almost like the Breakfast Club. You have your own little kind of like little
Yeah.
community you built there. So, you know, and things like that too. But it's really cool though, because you're working with different professionals and CEOs and things like that. So, you know, it's really cool to see that somebody's out there trying to make a difference with these kind of things instead of, you know, making everybody feel weird, you know, and things like that too. So do you have any advice for any of the people at home listening? Like, hey, listen, if you're dyslexic or you have a child that's dyslexic, what are some things they can do to better help them?
Yeah. There's always different goals, I guess you could say, goals or desires of what they
You didn't
want.
look really thrilled when you
Specific,
said goals. You're like, there's so many goals.
like that. Well, you're thinking like New Year's resolutions, right? It's
Yeah.
just like, I set this goal. And a goal for me is a wish, but then you put some action behind it
Yeah.
and put a plan to it. Like that's a
Okay.
goal for me. For most people, they just categorize that as a wish. So
Yeah.
that's
No,
why
I
I
get
kind
you.
of threw it out that way,
Yeah, I
right?
know. The way you did it though is funny. I'm like, oh no, Willie don't like this term to it.
I love the word goal, but it comes back to something that I love with my dyslexia is I break down
Yeah.
the words to make them like to define them.
Yeah.
So discipline being one of the ones I've been looking into is discipline. Everyone seems like, oh, if I just had a little bit more discipline, I can do this. What the heck does that even mean? So I broke down what discipline was. And discipline to me is doing something over and over again for a long period of time. So I thought, okay, if it's that way, then I am already disciplined because a lot of the things that have made me who I am today,
Hmm.
I'm disciplined in those, the good habits and the bad habits. I am disciplined with being with my kids. And I'm also disciplined with sitting on my phone for an hour or two, scrolling through Instagram and YouTube, watching shorts.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, now that I know what that definition of the word is, now it's not, I need this fictitious thing that is always out of my reach. But now it's, well, I just shift the energy that I have already towards
Yeah.
something else. So I love breaking things down. To answer your question of like what to go with, There's really two types of realms
Mhm.
where a lot of people fall into that I work with. First one is the people who are already out there doing something, and that dyslexia hasn't held them back per se,
Yeah.
but mentally it more holds them back than anything. And for those people, it really comes down to, what is it that you want? Let's create a plan for it. And then while you're still doing everything else, let's figure out tools and systems that work for you
Mhm.
rather than doing the thing that everybody says, this is it. No, we're going to teach you how you learn and what systems work for you. So that's the first one. But the one even, I don't like to say the word behind, but it really is like the one of a back step is people who see and kind of hate dyslexia in that
Yeah.
way. Of, it has held me back. It's made me feel broken. I feel overwhelmed, overthinking all the time, and overstimulated. That no matter what I try to do, there's always this reading or writing or speaking or whatever it is involved that everybody else can do it so easy. And for me, it at least takes twice the amount of work
Yeah.
just to catch up to somebody else.
Yeah, it's very
So for those
discouraging,
people,
yeah.
yeah. And so for those people, I always start with the possibility, which the possibility is, what if dyslexia could be a good thing? Because now we're not talking about apples and oranges. We're talking about two sides of the same coin. Everyone focuses on the tail side of the negative side of the coin of, oh, dyslexia is going to hold you back. You're going to be under grade reading level, and everything that you do, you're always going to have to do double the work and always have to be on your A game, or else you're going to make a mistake and everyone's going to be making fun of you. That's
Yeah.
where a lot of people hang out. But on the head side, the more positive side, there's creativity. Dyslexics are really great at thinking outside the box and being creative. They're great at recognizing patterns and problem solving. They're great when it comes to empathy and sympathy because they've had to deal with so much. They know what it's like to go through a challenge.
Yeah.
And there's this whole realm of things that have come because of dyslexia, but so many people are focused on the other side. So what I just say is, flip that coin, see it on both sides, and then at the end of the day, you can make the decision. But start with the possibility that it could work for you. And I know it can because it's worked for me. It's worked for the clients that I've worked with
Mhm.
and the people I've interacted with. And so I give a little example, but it's that possibility of, that's how you can start, is break past that ignorance. That's not really their fault because they just didn't know.
Yeah.
Learn more about it. Learn both sides. And then at the end of the day, you choose whether you go to the side you've always been at or start shifting that energy toward the other side. And the other side has some pretty cool things to go with it.
Yeah, I like how you're reframing it to more positive things because I think that's what the problem with dyslexia. Everybody hears it and then they instantly start freaking out. Oh God, now I'm going to be dumb or whatever. You know, all these negative things you can come up with is probably what they're all dealing with because that's what they've always heard about. They don't heard anybody do anything with it. And then when you start to find out that certain people are very successful regardless of it, it's like, okay, well, if they can do it, now I can do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I like that though because you have examples of other people that you work with. I have all these other people I work with that are just like you are still doing these great things, you know, and I think that's a lot of times what it is. People get on the internet, and God forbid the internet is a very dangerous place to be, especially when it
Yes.
comes to something being different than anybody else. You know, they'll sit there and pick on you and all these, oh, you can't read these, and you know, all these things they'll see as negativity instead of, like you said, just flipping the coin and looking at the direct opposite side of it, which I think is really great, though. Just shifting that mindset. For me, it was the same thing. It's because it's like, well, you're special education, so you can't do more than everybody else. And it's like, no, I don't think so. It's not really the case. Look at what I'm doing now. I'm doing something instead of nothing, you know, and I love it though, man. I think it's really cool that that's how you're looking at it because I think a lot of people end up getting that built up in their head. And then that's what really changes their mindset because they're so stuck on what people are telling them versus just doing the research and looking into it themselves and seeing that what they could do is more powerful than what they're already being told.
Agreed. And that's why I love being, there are resources for kids. There's
Hmm.
so many resources when it comes to neurodivergence and teenagers. But once you hit that magical age of 18, there might be some things in college, but unless you pursue it yourself, there's not any resources as adults that are just so
Yeah.
readily
Isn't that
there
crazy
for
though? It's
you.
like, you get past 18 and it's like, oh, well, you're on your own now. It's like, but no, we still need help. Like we see things from a different light than other people. Where's my help to help me get through these things? Like, apply things so I can learn them better so I can succeed. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's the
Yeah.
biggest downfall I feel in the education system a little bit. It's just like, not to pick on them, but it's like, hey man, we're still here. Like we're 18, we're still going to college and things. I know where I was from, Illinois, they had a university out there that was really good. I think it was Eastern or Western Illinois had a special program for people like me that had learning disabilities and things like that that you could go and it was
Awesome.
structured. You know what I mean? Like it's like why can't everybody just do that? It doesn't make any sense because it's like now you leave them out there and you're basically leading them up the hill and it's just well there you go, you're done on your own. Now have fun. It's like okay, well what do I do now? Well, I don't know. It's like you get tossed aside and you're like, well, hold on. I'm still here. I'm still trying to figure things out. I'm still trying to learn and succeed. And I think it's the same thing for everybody. It's neurodivergent as well. A lot of people don't understand that you can't approach them the same way you approach everybody else, and where I work now, we have a few people that are like that. And I'm trying to explain it to them like, listen, you can't approach this guy the same way you're approaching everybody because he doesn't understand the same thing you do. So, like, how about ask him what you can do to help him? Hey, listen, what's a better way for you to learn? And that's the scary part is that nobody asks you how to help you better. It's like everybody has an answer for you. The hero complex of, well, I'm gonna go save the day for Willie. I got you, man. It's like, but how are you gonna help me if you don't know what the hell I'm dealing with? You don't even know
Exactly.
you know saying? Like, you don't even know what I'm dealing with, and you're over here telling me you're gonna come save me. Well, how? Calm down, Superman. You can't save the day. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but that's how everybody is though these days. It's like, or everybody gets on the internet and then the false rhetoric that gets said, and it's just like, can y'all do a little research, like what the credentials of this person are saying to you? Like, TikTok is great and it can be your enemy at the same time. Like you're like, just because the guy at TikTok told you can make $1 million in 20 minutes doesn't mean you can make $1 million in 20 minutes. You understand these are pyramid scandals and things like that. It's like, do just a slight bit of research because you'll find that, a lot of times, the information you're getting is not as great as you want it to be. But if you look and use the internet to your advantage, like Willie's saying, go look at what and understand better what you're doing. I think that's the part a lot of people fail at. It's just like they get diagnosed with anything, mental health, just whatever you want to put in that category. Then they don't go look at the other side and go, hey, listen, let me learn more about what it is so I can better adapt. Like people with borderline personality disorder is a very interesting one just to come to mind. Everybody gives it a false narrative because it's like, oh, they're horrible people, but they're not. If you go look at the other side of the coin and understand what these people deal with on a daily basis, it's just like being dyslexic and anything else you put in that category. If you go learn what these people are dealing with, it'll be so much easier for you to understand. And that's where we fail as societies, that we just don't learn about the other people. Like, Willie's wife, I'm sure, looked up what dyslexia was and get a better idea, maybe of what it is, but that's just being what you do. I mean, you look up to help each other. We use the internet for other things, but hell, we can't use it to research to save our lives at this point.
Boom. Mic drop.
Right there. It was like, I'm done.
I'm just like, episode's done. That was the best way.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's insanity. Like, you're on TikTok as well, man. I'm sure you get a lot of weird videos that come in and you're just sitting there going, wait, what? Yeah, you shouldn't do these things. And Billy's like, wait a minute, what do you mean I shouldn't do these things? Hold on, wait. What are you telling me? Have you know what I'm saying? Like, you run or Instagram? Instagram's a scary place, man. You go down my Instagram feed, Willie, there's things on there you're just like, what the hell did I just watch? I just spent 10 minutes watching what?
Exactly. And so I have a friend who literally, so I'm an Android user. He's an Apple user.
Here we go.
We have this debate and conversation all the time of like, what's best? And we're
Here
like,
we
oh,
go.
this
Willie,
aspect's
come
better
on,
and this
man.
aspect's better. But one thing that both of us have in common is that in order for us to start the argument per se, or start the conversation, we both have to say 3 things that the other side does better. Because then that puts us in the place of, okay, now we can actually have some mutual like conversation. Where I have another individual close in my family who is also an Apple, and for the life of her, she's like, no, Apple's supreme. And I'm like, well, just tell, like, here's some great things about Apple. And I'm like, if you want to have a conversation, tell me just one thing that Samsung does good. And she says, no, I'm not going to. And I think of, just back to your point of, we got to learn how to
Yeah.
be curious. We got to learn. We got to actually learn how to learn.
Well, I think we're
Because we've
curious. We're
lost
just
that
curious
these
in the wrong
days.
things, like looking at how to, do some oddball shit on the internet versus actually using it to our advantage. Like, don't get me wrong, the internet's great. You can entertain yourself, but for the love of God, please use it the other side and don't WebMD shit, please. Like, I cannot stand people that do that and start self-diagnosing themselves. Well, I think I got cancer. I think it goes deeper than that, my guy. I think you need to calm down. Or it's like people that go to Wikipedia, Willie. I cannot understand. It's like, it's all factual, guys. Here's all notes. You could literally go on and add your own notes into Wikipedia, man. Like, it doesn't work, man. You can't stop. For the love of God, quit doing that, because it's like, then you get these people that post things on the internet and it's just like, they always want to tax them. So I did this thing this other morning. Okay. So I got curious and did something. So I went on there, I typed a message on it and misspelled one word. Okay. So I attracted this troll to come talk to me. And we're going back and forth, dude. And I'm not being rude at all. Mind you, the whole time I'm just sitting here being very playful. And this guy's like, "Oh, well, you know how to spell right?" I'm like, "No, I don't. My mom didn't teach me how to spell. I'm sorry. My bad, And just kept going back and forth. And it's just like, you're so upset by what I said versus the fact of just like, I made a comment on a video, like you're just that attracted to it. It's like, it's these people just like thrive on the stupidest things possible, dude. It's like, y'all need some help out there. Like, quit, man. Stay off the internet if you're gonna like judge everybody. I mean, because regardless, you're still gonna get it. You get these people that tell you what his depression isn't real. One guy was telling people that if you're not happy, Willie, go back to when you're 18. I said, what if I hated myself at 18? Like, that is the worst advice you could ever give. And it's just like the constant battle of those kind of things. So are any of your daughters dyslexic by chance? I know you had said you had one. Do you have more than one?
Yeah, I have 4 daughters,
Oh,
but
that's right. That's
the
what you did
oldest
say
one,
for. My bad.
yeah, no, you're good. She's 6 years old. She's in kindergarten. So I don't know at this point if they're dyslexic or not, but potentially.
Yep. Uh-oh. Get ready, man. It could be possible. But at least,
Yeah.
you'll be equipped. But you're going to understand, though, if something is wrong or something like that, you'll be ready and already equipped for it because you've already been through it and you're very sympathetic to it. And especially with kids that age, if we can help them early on, it's even better. Like I even say like emotionally regulate them at that young age, just so they understand what these feelings are. I like that movie Inside Out for that reason. You like how the characters give like different like meanings to things, and stuff like that as well. So, it gets interesting because I like that one because I think the second one is my anxiety is that little character that shows up. It's like, there you go. You want to know what my anxiety looks like? That's it right there, man.
Yeah.
That little.
I'm not gonna lie, I cried in that one. That ending scene when she's like playing the hockey game and anxiety attack and just like this. I'm like, ooh, that hits hard.
Yeah.
That hits so hard.
Right. Yeah. It's horrible, man. Because I've experienced anxiety attacks, panic attacks, PTSD has been a thing for me. I've dealt with recently. Stuff like you just start experiencing these things, and then you hear other people talking about it. It's so interesting to get their perspective of what it's like for them because the same thing is like you'll experience something different than I'll experience it. And that's the idea behind the show too. Is like just to let people know that just because you have this doesn't mean you're alone. But you may not feel the same way someone else does. But at home, you're going to realize, that, hey, listen, this guy may not be exactly who I am, but he still understands what I'm going through and things like that. So, Willie, we're at the part of the interview where I ask 2 questions to all my guests. Okay. So the first one's kind of a fun one. So the question to you is that if your mental health had a song, what would that song be? Now, you could break this down however you like it to be.
Okay. I thought so the song that comes up is Hall of Fame by The Script.
Mm-hmm.
That's like my theme song I go with. It's like Living in the Hall of Fame. Love the song. The one that came up is it's the one that first came up as I thought back to that anxiety and back to years back was it's the final countdown. Just like it's going to happen.
That's what you're thinking too, right? So coming ready to ask you to read. Willie's like, it's the final countdown. He's just counting all the people down as it comes down to him. I could just see that too.
Exactly.
I get to see it. Willie said he's just like, he's counting them down. It's like that little, like the spotlights are just popping at people. And you're like, oh God, please don't hit me. Please don't hit me. Oh, Willie, whammy. Or what is it? The whammy game. The whammies. It's like, whammy, stop. And Willie's like, oh, no, I'm in trouble now, man. It's all me.
And then one of the hardest, probably worst things was it'd be going down the line to me. I'm ready to read. The kid next to me would stop reading, and then the teacher would be like, "Okay, let's stop and have a discussion on what was talked about." So I'm sitting there stressing out. I'm just like, wait, I'm ready to read. Please let me read. I don't want to talk about this. And then they might call on you and you're like, crap, I'm not ready for this.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
yes.
It's the final
Yes.
countdown for sure.
So, Willie, the question for you and the final one I have for you is that if you could break the stigma about mental health. Now, when I say this, it's just something you hear that you want people to stop believing. You can apply this to dyslexia as well. What would you say that one thing would be? And this could be anything that you just see on a constant basis that you feel like people demonize that just isn't right in your mind.
I'm going to explain it a little bit.
Go for it.
The saying is this: you're not behind, you're just still in part.
Okay.
So let me explain it. So many times, I know I've fallen in this category many times. We feel behind, that we have to be at this certain location in our life where our physical health is a certain way, our mental and emotional health are a certain way, and that everything has to be of this expectation. And weirdly enough, every person I talk with, their reality is always below their expectation of how they thought their life was going to be. But I've learned this, that if you come with me, think about yourself jumping into a car and you're excited, you're about to go on vacation. Open that car door, you jump in, close that door. Pull up your phone, whether you get on Apple Maps or Google Maps, you type in Disneyland. You're about to take a road trip. Pull it up, put in the address you live at, click directions. Pulls up a map of what you got. Said, awesome. You put it up on your little phone thing holding there and you press start. And you're so excited for it. But you never take your car out of park. How fast are you going to get there?
I like that. That's really cool. Yeah, you didn't think of it
Not
that
fast
way.
at all.
Yeah, exactly. You can't move at all, honestly. You're in park still. So, that's.
And you can put as much effort as you want. You can step on that gas pedal as hard as you can. But if you're still in that park gear, nothing's going to happen. Doesn't matter if you have the perfect plan right in front of you, the perfect business plan or the life plan, the vision board, if it's right in front of you. Doesn't matter if you have all the wishes just right in there, that you're just like, I wish for this and this and this and this. And like if a genie came, you'd have it ready. It doesn't matter if you don't take it out of park. So with that mental health side of a lot of what we go through is because we're not moving. And so I always tell people, one, you got to look at the possibility of it happening, especially with dyslexia. But you also are feeling the way that you feel because you're not moving in the way that your body needs to be moving. We are built for action. We're not built for thinking. And of course we think, but we think too much. Because if a task takes a shorter amount of time versus the amount of time in which you thought about it, I would consider that overthinking.
Yeah.
So it would be what you are going through. If you want to change your mental state, change your physical state. Get up, take a walk, do a push-up, do a jumping jack, whatever it is that you can physically do. But if you want to change that mental state and work on the mental health, move physically. And the opposite is true as well. If you want to change your physical health, work on your mental health. Both of those correlate so hard, but both come to,
fantastic point, Willie.
are you shifting out of park?
I love it, Willie. Fantastic. Well, Coach Willie, it comes that time. We get ready to start winding down. Did you have any final last words for everybody at home before we start signing this thing off?
Absolutely.
Give it
Believe
to
in
them.
yourself.
Give it to them, Willie.
'cause you're
Tell them.
awesome. Yeah. Here we go. It's the final countdown. We're doing this.
Oh my God.
First thing, believe in yourself because you are such an amazing person. The
Yeah.
person who is listening to this in their ear, you are an amazing person and you got to believe it because me and Pete both believe it for you and it's time for you to believe it as well. Then that second thing, get out of park. You're not behind. You just haven't started.
Exactly.
So
I love it.
Just shift it into drive. And even if it's baby steps, just go a little bit at a time.
I absolutely love it. With that being said, we're going to wrap up this episode of Peak Society. Before we do, though, Willie, where can everybody find you, man? What socials do you want them to hit you on? What's the website? Give it to them and let them know where the podcast is, especially, so they can come check it out. Because I'm going to check out those earlier ones, Driving with Willie, because I'm sure I'm going to be laughing about this one for a little bit. I'll be messaging you, Billy. Oh, my God, man, I can't believe you did this.
Like, dude, I heard the turn signal in your thing the entire time. That is awesome.
It's-
So best thing, you can find it all in one place. My website, coachwillieblake.com.
okay.
There you'll be able to find the links to my socials as well as the link to the podcast, Light Beyond Limits. I'm primarily on LinkedIn as well as my YouTube channel. I have two of them. One's Coach Willie Blake, and I post there a little bit, but I have another one called Dyslexic Achievers Hub. And that's where I post most of the videos for dyslexia, leadership, everything we talked about today in there. But all of it can be found on my website.
Awesome. Sounds great, Willie. We appreciate you coming, hanging out with us, man. It's been an honor having you here. I'm so happy that you're out there fighting the good fight for the people that have dyslexia and everything else, man. Willie, thank you so much again, man. I really appreciate it. Guys, and with that being said, we're going to wrap up this episode of Pete vs. Anxiety. You know where to find me? I'm Pete vs. Anxiety on X all the way down to TikTok. I'm on Spotify all the way down to Pandora Radio. And as always say, it costs nothing, absolutely nothing to be kind to somebody. One kind act you could do could save their life. Or hell, you can make their day. I'm Pete vs. Anxiety sign off saying, don't ask how your day is today. Say, hey, how's your mental health?